Alright guys, so we got to talk about the Stalker being a playable character. Alright. I have a really interesting theory. It's going to be a very bold prediction. Alright. But I think once I explain why I think that is going to be an accurate description, I think you guys might agree with me, and we'll see what ends up happening. Alright. If I am correct, like this is gonna be something very different.
There's some that are gigantic. I think the IT one.
Yeah, there's the IT one, yeah. And then now, of course, detail. You can name your cave. This is unlocked through intrinsics as well. So
Guys, what are we naming my horse?
Yeah, Reb also mentioned conservation is not conservation as you know it.
You'll
It's
see, we have a video. So.
Oh, we do that kind of
Yeah, we'll show that after.
Yeah, basically, we went a little crazy. It's
Yeah.
all new. Like, it really,
But it
there's
all
no
connects.
mining.
There's no mining.
There's no mining.
And there's no bounties in the truest sense. It's stories that take you through the world. So this is a better view of the open world, Carrie.
Yeah, it's a great view.
Yeah. Megan is flying around.
Yeah.
And we're gonna find our way to our next, to the perhaps a different place in Duviri.
Oh, stuck the landing. Nice.
Wow, Meg.
What can I say? Wheels down, baby.
Now, for me, this really put me in the mindset of never-ending story. I want to know how many of you guys would like to see a version of that, like huge dog, right? To be in the place of that, like that would be amazing.
You might have
All
to
right.
Roach. Poor dummy. And now we get to pick our loadouts. So this is sort of that.
Alright guys, so look here. All of these are playable characters, but they're only available like in this short window of time, right? Only for very select mission types. And then like you have to give it back, like you don't get to keep it. Now, I think you'll see where I'm going with this here in just a minute. Now, they said from this point forward, whenever someone's starting Warframe, they will get to either pick the Duviri at the start or the original start of Warframe. Now, here's what's going to really throw people off if they don't incorporate my theory. People are going to come in here and they're going to play as the Stalker, and then they're going to have to give him back, and they're eventually going to go, well, how do I get the Stalker and take him to my ship and start building him and putting mods on him? And then when they find out that's not a real thing, you don't get to actually keep him, you just got to play with him a little bit. How many people are going to be really upset about that? It's one thing to do that to veterans because veterans already know the game. They understand it. But I'm thinking about the new player's perspective right now, right? They're not going to know the Stalker is any different from any of these other characters up here, right? And I don't know, like they would have to do a lot of explaining about his backstory, about the fact that he's not a playable character. This is something totally different. It's never been done before. You know what I'm saying? It's going to throw a lot of people off if they don't do that. You know, and I just think a lot of people are going to be very salty about that. You know, there's also different versions of the Stalker that has different abilities built into him. I mean, he uses other frames' abilities that are mixed and matched. So here's what I'm thinking they're going to do. I think the Stalker is going to become a Warframe, right? Because the backstory that they have loaded up on here is not the stalker's backstory. This cannot be the stalker we're used to, because he's not an ally. He comes to stalk the players, to stalk the warframes, to kill the warframes, right? And this says something about him being like a distant ally or something. Yeah, so this says he is an ally from an unknown time and place. That is not the stalker's backstory, alright? He's never been called a ally before. So I think what this is, I don't think this is the actual stalker. I think this is a clone of the stalker. That this guy right here is built like this is like how we have the sentient warframes, right? They're built from sentient technology, but they're not actual sentients because the sentients are our enemies, right? But we have uh, warframes with sentient technology. You see what I'm saying now? So I think this guy is a warframe with, I forget what type of species these guys are called, but he has their technology, right? So he's basically going to be just like the Stalker family, like the Acolytes. You know what I'm saying? So that is gonna be crazy. So I have no idea what type of abilities he might have. I know he's probably gonna have like the smoke screen. What I'm thinking, what would be really like mind blowing, is if he has abilities like Lavos, right? Where he can basically change his abilities on the fly. Like, how incredible would that be if he actually had, uh, like, what if he actually had like 8 different abilities he could choose from, right? Uh, that would be like if he had a tap and then he had a hold, right? So that would be 2 different abilities set for ability A and ability B, and so on and so forth. So, you guys let me know what y'all think. Do you think we're actually going to get a Warframe with Acolyte technology built into him? I think we are. I could not imagine new players coming in here, picking the Stalker, thinking that he's an actual Warframe that they can take back to their ship, customize and build and keep him, only to find out that no, that's not something you can do, right? I think a lot of people would get really mad about that. Like, you gave us all this power. This dude is so freaking cool, but we can't keep him. Like, what is the sense of that? I think this is, like, they're, and you also notice too, right? They didn't pick the Stalker from here. Uh, Now, of course, I understand, Hildren, and she's getting primed and all that kind of stuff, but why didn't they pick him? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't they talk about that more? I think this is a huge teaser right here. And we're just left to wonder and speculate. That's what I'm doing. I'm speculating here. So I think this guy might be similar to the Stalker we're used to, except this guy is an ally. Alright? That's what I'm betting. You guys let me know what y'all think. That's it for now, y'all.